Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Queen's Wish. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today, as we talked to her already. What is she doing, throwing things out the window? She sorts through old scrolls as she talks to you. Some might be maps or cache locations and thus useful. The rest of the old scroll records are useless. She throws those out the window for later burning. Why are you doing the throwing out the window? Don't do that. Let's have a chat with people, because we're in, I forget the name of the town, but we need Chief Gansky over here, and we need to talk to her. You find Chief Lisa Gansky. Since you met her outside, she has settled into an old desk, cleared away the trash, and gotten to work. She leaps to her feet when you approach. I hope the work is proceeding to your liking, Prince. I'm ready to give my formal report. I'll listen to the report if I have... No, sure. Go right ahead. Alright, we found that the Masha left our land alone while we were gone. We have cleared the bulk of the scorpions who settled here, and restoring the fort and cropland is proceeding well. The fighting between the Owen and the Masha has not come close to our claims. I think they both want to avoid angering us. The situation is very touchy. How so? Both the Owen and the Masha want Haven to help them win the war. If any of them suspect that we want to side with their enemies, I'm afraid they will attack us and burn Crossing Keep in the to the ground. That's why I must sadly make some requests in my role as chief, I mean. What can I do for you then? My private counsel is that the Vol will not be a good vassal as long as this war continues. However, the two opposing forces are in a stalemate. Applying the force of the South Battalion may be necessary to forge a good vassal here. Also, if you have time, there's a small matter I will need a ruling on. Sure. Apparently I can't go with that, so let's go with the first option. So how did you end up out here? Her face lights up. I was serving as a chief in a more settled land, and I heard rumors of a big secret project. Hush, hush, high status. I asked around and I learned what was going on. Sacramentum, the dream. I made a pain of myself, and I was chosen for this mission. That's the first acknowledgement the game makes, that people who are sent here as a punishment. At least, you know, unequivocal. This is unequivocal. The game has sort of hinted at that, but this is unequivocal for sure. Tell me about your past service. She tells you. It's a lot of posts, a lot of difficult situations, a lot of success. You can see why she was chosen for this mission. Can I? Maybe the writers didn't settle on a reason why people were sent here. Who chose you to come out here? The Queen! She chose the chiefs and officers who came to the Vol herself. You met my mother? Yes, can you believe it? I was given my orders by her personally, from her own hand. She has a lot of interest in the Vol. It's always been Haven's most profitable vassals on Sacramentum, and she wanted it looked after. Anyway, that's my story. I hope my experience is suitable for your needs. How are things in the Vol? The Masha and Owen stare at each other, and we're right in the middle. You will find both sides very touchy, afraid, quick to anger, also desperate for your help. You'll probably be offered a lot of quality bribes, as opposed to all the rubbish bribes that I get offered. I end up having to pay to be bribed. This reminds me, she says, there's a bit of a policy that needs to be settled. I don't have the rank for it. Okay, and I really want to get on with it, but I can't acknowledge that. Any thoughts on dealings between the Masha and the Owen? Well, I actually could. That was the second option. Anyway, well, when I learned I was coming here, I read a ton of reports by chiefs and officers who served here. It was enlightening. And what did you learn? They all expected the Owen to rebel. Every one of them. The Masha have been getting greedier for generations. Fewer Masha, all richer and softer. More and more Owen, all angrier. It was only Haven's help that kept the rebellion from happening. Then the calamity happened. We left and, she shakes her head. And by keeping the rebellion from happening, it probably means hunting slaves down and also punishing them for trying to rebel. That's what Haven was doing. What guidance do you need? When the rebellion started, lots of Hoenn ran away. Many to fight, but a lot of them just wanted to be free. A lot of their refugees have come here. I need to know whether to let them live on our lands or not. If we do, there will be some expense. We don't have the spare gold to buy provisions, but we can trade stone. No, not... Sure. I mean, I suppose I don't need stone for anything. What have you been doing before now? We've been letting them stay. We didn't want to start hunting refugees. However, there really are a lot of them. More all the time. We'll have to trade stone for food to keep order and keep them from starving. What are your thoughts? Putting aside that letting them stay will cost precious gold, apart from it only costing stone, I think. Anyway, if we let them stay, it may anger the Masha. Kicking them out will infuriate the Hoenn. It all depends on which side you want to please, you see. I'm sure why... you see, I'm sure... It all depends on which side you want to please. You see, I'm sure, why I couldn't make the decision. I see. You just wanted to put the I'm sure there to throw me off. Because you could say, I'm sure you see why I couldn't make this decision. You didn't even have to use commas to do that. Anyway. I sympathize with the Hoenn. Trade stone, also, it's the only moral thing to do. Train stone for food and give them refuge on our land. Understood, she says. The Hoenn will be very pleased. Our soldiers and quartermaster, less so. I will make sure that they hang the quartermaster and the soldiers, I suppose, then. If they're not going to be pleased about this. I will make sure that they don't... Also, they were responsible for the situation of the Hoenn in the first place, so they really don't have any say in this matter. I will make sure that they don't interfere with Haven's business. Thank you, Prince. I'm glad to have this settled. How are we doing getting resources? Cillian is a cunning trader, and she's doing well getting wood, stone, all that sort of thing. There are plenty of surviving colonies and farms around who appreciate Haven's business. There's one disappointment, though. We thought Conlin's Pit would be happy to see us return, but they aren't. What's Conlin's Pit? A Haven community, Havenites who bought and operated a quarry before the calamity. They're still there. We thought they'd be happy to see us return. Instead, they turned my messengers away without a word. So there are still Havenites here? Yes, they're still there. I mean, here. I mean, there. They've been surviving all these years, trading with the Vol. We thought they'd be happy to see us return, and I said this already, but they just turned my messengers away without a word. What do you want from them? Stone? They are Havenites, and Haven is back. They're under my protection now, and they have to pay the taxes all Havenites do. Someone has to go out there and get them to obey our laws. Sure, I'll try to visit them and see what is happening. I appreciate it, Prince. I'm sure a brief visit from royalty will awe them into submission. I'm sure it won't, but I'll see you later. Okay, we have more missions. It's, actually, I need to come back. That was the fastest out and in. John Alvord? I didn't talk to you, did I? I don't think so. Inside this fort, this dilapidated trading hall is getting some attention. The broken windows have been replaced. Two Vol, an old man and a young woman, repair cracked floor tiles. At the counter, an old bald Havenite is carefully painting a small sign to go on the door. They are so involved in their work that they have not noticed you. It is I, Prince Jeff. The Vol remain focused on their work, but the old man stops painting and looks up. His eyes squint and he steps closer to make sure the insignia on your chest is real. He says, "A good day to you, Prince Jeff." He bows. "Forgive my not kneeling. My knees are a bit touchy. I'm John Alvord, Haven's Way agent, fresh out of retirement." What are you painting? He shows you the sign. It reads, Haven's Way. In debt? Inquire further within. He says, "Clearly, I was no painter before I retired, but it'll do. It means this hall will be Haven's Way for Outreach Office." Who are they? And I'm going to point to the vault. Alvord smiles proudly. "That is Rufus and his oldest daughter, Porty. His workshop burned during a skirmish at the start of the Civil War. He was left heavily indebted, trying to rebuild. Enough for 2 lines on his cheek. He and his children were to be Hoenn. Unfortunate. That's an understatement. But there's a happy ending. Rufus was about to turn himself to the local masher when he happened upon me first. We came to a mutually beneficial agreement. He paid off his debt with our coin, and Haven has a skilled local craftsman to help us rebuild at a heavily discounted and fixed rate for only 10 years. Uh, well, I suppose that's better than what Haven was doing before. Let's put it like that. What's a Vol Outreach Office? And also Vol Way Outreach Officer? It was like a whole title. We buy the debt of poor Vol so no masher can turn them into Owen. At your raised eyebrow, he swiftly adds, it's called indenture service. Slavery, in other words. Anyway, they work only for us for a variable length of time, depending on their debt load, usually around 10 years. We even provide a small fixed income, and then they are free. Yeah, but they're not free before. That's what slavery is. You freaking... My god. Well, I guess, again, it is better than what they were doing before, although this might very likely is what they were doing before, Haven was doing before. I mean, what do you think of the Owen system? Officially, Haven's Way doesn't have opinions about such matters. Unofficially, people work hardest when it is for their own benefit. Forced lifetime servitude across generations, besides leading to grotesque abuses, is contrary to maximizing returns and efficiencies. The system should have been abolished or heavily reformed. Yeah, the problem is clearly the fact that they don't work as hard as they should for the profit of their masters. For sure, this John Albert is quite a brilliant mind. What do the Masha think of your efforts? Honestly, I hope they do not know. I suspect they would not approve. We are, us paying their debt and whatnot. We are competing with them, and our way is superior since it benefits Haven. That's one way of looking at it. With skilled workers and indebted Vol, since they don't become Owen. They become... The distinction is tenuous, but sure. Fortunately, I know the Masha. Their honor will forbid them from asking us directly about this. If you stay silent too, I can continue recruiting Vol at favorable terms. Hiccup. I have hiccups. Do you ever buy Owen? Which is what you do? No! That's literally what he does. That is, in the text of the game, literally what he does. So a Masha will pay the debt of a civilian or of a person, and because of that person becomes an Owen, a slave to the person who paid the debt, and yeah, so that's exactly what happens. He just lets them go after 10 years. Did he say? In my mind, I remember 10 years. I don't think he said 10 years though. Did he? Anyway, he lets them go after a while. No, his shock is genuine. At least you think so, in your naive face that doesn't know anything. Because our character is very naive, as we have seen since the beginning of the game. The Queen made it clear we are forbidden to buy Owen. I obey, unless her representative here, you might, my prince, decides otherwise. Okay, well, I say you should start buying Owen, and then set them free immediately. He considers your commands, tapping his chin. The moral but economically insensible choice. Oh yeah, those very often go not hand in hand. Your ordering this may irritate the Queen, but his face becomes thoughtful. This might not be possible. Owen are very, very expensive. There is not enough coin in my coffers to buy Owen. Nor am I a lawyer who can write suitable contracts that will hold up in the Vol legal system. We don't need to go to the legal system. We'll go to war with them. I mean, we don't, actually. We are in a situation where the game specifically says that that Haven doesn't have an army. So either I dismantle the Vol from within somehow, or... Yeah. So, I'm gonna ask. I will write to the Haven's Way Society to raise funds, and maybe they can find a lawyer willing to take on the work. In a year, perhaps, you stop listening to the flood of details before it ruins your warm moral feelings. That's so gross. Why can't they be cold? I want my feelings to be cold and moral. Eventually, because they sort of are, eventually John stops talking and excuses himself to compose letters. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward, like, there's no warmness here. This is a very cold, it needs to, this system needs to be taken on with cool mind, I should say. And, because, you know, they are constantly trying to convince me that, oh, it's just fine, and if you're just gonna go after whatever your gut feeling tells you, then yeah, you might come to the same conclusions that I'm coming to, but, and hopefully you do, but that's not the way to bring this down. You can't just be like odd-headed, you know what I mean? It's just we need to bring them down somehow. Although in this game we're just gonna follow the storyline that is the storyline of the Owen. We'll see how that goes. We got a thing over there. We got people over here. You see a group of young Vol warriors. They have chainmail and axes, standard equipment for the Vol. The heat doesn't bother them at all. They're walking through the sandy wastes, but they seem confused and lost. When they see that you are outsiders and not fighting in their civil war, they wave. They're friendly folk, neither Masha nor Owen. I have rambled plenty about that. They were nervous until they realized that you were a Havenite. They left their farms to sign on with Haven's army. It's very common in vassal states. Haven pays very well and provides excellent training. Yeah, tell them to go to my fort. Fortunately, you have rebuilt one of Haven's fortresses in the Vol. You give the soldiers directions. They march off in the correct direction. Your battalions are strong, but Haven is never able to control a vassal state without recruiting warriors that already live there. Because also it's a very sensible recruitment strategy to recruit people of the land. The Romans did that extensively. A band of Owen rebels approaches you, spears and axes out. They boldly block your path. They are young and inexperienced. Older soldiers should know that challenging Havenites on the road is unwise. Their leader steps forward. This is the land of the Owen Rebellion. Identify yourself. I'm Prince Jeff of Haven. They look at your insignia. Awareness of who they are dealing with washes over them. The rebels step aside and talk. Then one of them says, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? They step aside and talk? They just talk. They're saying words. Like, you know, they like cats meow. Then obviously they're not going to meow. They're people, so they're going to talk. But it's indistinguishable and you can't tell what they are. Then one of them says, I've heard of Jeff. The prince is on an enemy to the Owen. We shouldn't anger Haven yet. Their leader nods, and they turn and wave you by. Silently, not talking. Sure. Anyway, let's see what we have over here. And also where we are. This is the Drowning Gaol. And Gaol means prison. You have found Drowning Gaol, an old crumbling Vol prison on the south coast. The Vol take their justice seriously. That's why they have slaves. They like their laws. Yeah. And they gruesomely punish those who violate them. And also enslave people. This Gaol is deep in rebel lands, and the Masha aren't running it now. It is still settled, though. You see fresh supplies along the path, and you hear people talking in the guardhouse ahead. Like cats meowing. No, this time it's actually properly written. Hold it right there! There is a mage staring out at you through the grate. He looks vaguely Achriel, though the greenish tinge of his skin is only barely visible. And also, there's plenty of Achriel that are not green of skin, but anyway. I am Patas, and I'm in charge here. We hold Drowning Gaol, and visitors aren't allowed. You'll need to turn right around. Several archers emerge from the shadows on the other side of the gates and aim arrows at you. Also, visitors aren't allowed. Do prisons here allow you visitors? That's, it's very 20th century of you. You note that they are a mixture of Ukatish and Achriel, which is odd, apparently. Who are you people? Mercenaries! Find warriors from the Ukat and the Achriel. Join together in harmony. We go where we're paid and we fight. Right now the Masha paid us to take on holding Drowning Gaol, so we're doing that. What is Drowning Gaol? The mage shrugs. You note how dirty his robes are. Some old Vol prison. The Owen and criminals were brought here to be miserable and drowned if they thought it was necessary. The Vol are a rough lot. Ukatish and Agriel working together. Funny old world, isn't it? We all decided that our homelands were a bit mad. Then we realized all lands are mad. And so since we're all mad, no shame in taking money to kill, we've spent the last few years with a Masha, nice and warm down in the Vol. The Masha are paying you? Yes. Well, I mean, yes. They're paying us well and regularly. First, to keep the Owen in line, and now to watch and hunt them. The Masha hire more mercenaries than anybody. They have to stay in power. They don't have to stay in power. They want to stay in power. Why don't the Vol people fight to protect the Masha themselves? Patas and his archers laugh. Have you met the Masha? I can't answer that question. I'm very sorry, Patas. Hold it right there. Oh, it's you. Patas watches you again from the other side of the gate. What are you doing here? Following the orders of our Masha masters, we're holding this outpost. And then we go out among the disorganized, confused Owen, and well, we are in the rebel hunting business. And business is good? Very good indeed. When we find Owen, well, they never know what hit him. But you're from Haven, you know what it's like to spit on an innocent peasant and who stepped on out of line and whatnot. Oh yeah, I'm about to do that. Maybe you can be talked into another line of work. Patas shakes his head. We have to hold this Gaul for a while. We're under contract with the Masha, and you've seen how serious we are about our contracts. We took their gold. We leave too early. We'll end up thrown in the Scorpion Pit. Nope, because the Scorpion Pit is now mine. Actually, it's not mine. It's the workers, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know. You're going to be killed. I want to enter the Gaul. Well, I can't allow it. Not while the war is fully raging. Now, if you were to show you were an ally, say by having Haven enter the war fighting for the Masha, I might rethink it. I'll be going. All right, go and keep going. You enter and we have to kill you. Rules are rules. Are they? Can I actually enter? It looks like I can. The mercenaries shout an alarm! Exclamation mark. I like the notion of shouting an alarm. It's like shouting a war cry, but it's an alarm. And it's funny, and I like it. Okay, what are we gonna be able to do? We are gonna mind steal that jerk of... Oh. That was such a shame. Oh, I'm tempted to not do that. That was very shame. And evasions. Should be fine. Let's go with Battle Frenzy here and not be idiots. And then hopefully I can do a bull rush on you. Oh my god, what the freaking hell are you doing? At least I did something. Well, I actually got further in than I would otherwise. Charmed. There we go. Charmed. No, you need to die. Almost dead. They're killing each other back there. 43 damage, my god. There's other people moving. Let's try to kill you here. Bacon. Let's see. I'm gonna go over there and miss. You're gonna do Haven's Mercy. I should have moved further, but I'm a dummy. No, don't go there. The pathfinding is weird sometimes. Okay, 20 damage. They are taking quite a lot of damage. 3 damage there on our own. I'm gonna move you forward a little bit, and then you need to walk, even if slowly. Can attack you from here. It's a bit of a surprise. Oh. Hi. 2 damage. And bleeding. I'm not a fan of that. Okay. Hopefully Mario will go next. Oh, yeah. Lovely. All the bacon. Okay. Let's go with, actually, let's just wait. I can end combat like that. And there's a mercenary up ahead. Can't do anything there. And you're dead. There was another one in there, wasn't there? Yes. There are 2. One of them is almost dead, though. So, yay for that. Okay. That one, I don't think that one wants to fight. Little bit of bacon there. A lot of damage. Was that an evasion? That was an evasion. I was looking up here. Okay. And that's a kill. Okay, this is going swimmingly. And we have ourselves a pile of wood. That again, I shouldn't be picking, but I am. And we have Gaul mercenaries. The Gaul that they have. Oh, my jokes are the best. Critical for 19. That's not a very good critical. Let's just... Oh, they have bull rush. I resisted the stun. I also bit my tongue just then. You might have heard it. Me being weird. With my enunciation. Because, anyway. See what we can do here. Poison, critical. Nice. Okay, switch there. Get a hit for 15, not too bad. And 13, not too bad either. 6, taken. Blessing for everybody. Hit for a stun. That's actually a bit of a problem. Okay. That is another stun. It's very bad. Should have attacked that one. Ooh. Oh, yeah. We have dead people. Because I didn't pay attention. That was basically it. That was it. Can we just kill you already? This courtyard is where inmates were brought to be taken in. There are cages to the east where misbehaving prisoners would be left to roast in the sun. The clearing to the south was for the occasional parade when inmates would be brought out of the dank caves below. Both Mother and Dahlia told you how Haven's vassals are all shaped by their environments. Harsh deserts make for harsh people. I suspect that's not quite what happened here. Just gonna say that the vast majority of people here seem to be Owen, and they're not necessarily harsh. They're slaves. Okay, so let's go back over here. 2 hours. And everybody's resurrected. And then go back over there. 2 hours. Let's see what happens. I don't like that. I mean, I don't like that. We're gonna need to do this again. But we're out of time for the day, so I'm gonna do it again off camera. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Queen's Wish. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.